another NovaPans Handpans tutorial. I know it's been a while, so forgive us for taking so long. Obviously we're in a whole new setup now and hopefully it works. Don't be distracted by my attire. I'll still be teaching you some very useful stuff. So today we're going to be featuring the 13 note Generation 7 handpan by NovaPans Handpans, and as you can probably tell, what's particularly special, other than the detachable protective ring on the edge, is that it's got 13 notes. So because of that, you can play both the bottom and the top notes, and you can play some really some fabulous accompanying bass notes or chords in general, because you've got the bottom notes. So there's a particular song we're going to demonstrate to you. I play it quite a lot, and I'm going to teach you how to play it. It hasn't got a name yet, but I'll come up with one very soon, and it's a beautiful one to play on the 13 notes. So without any further ado, let's get on with it, and then we'll write it in sheet music for you to practice at home as well. Right, here we go. So there you go, and essentially I just develop it in multiple ways, but the foundation of this piece are those three very grounding chords, the first one being the ding and the second note, the third one being the third and fifth note with the, well, technically this is no longer the second note of the handpan because you have the lower notes here. This is technically the second one here. This one, second, third. But for the sake of referencing this on just the top note, for the sake of keeping things consistent with previous videos, we will refer to the top notes as being first, second, third, fourth, and we will refer to the bottom notes as perhaps the first bottom note, the second bottom note, the third bottom note, and the fourth bottom note, just to keep things clear. So the first chord is ding and the second note on the top. The second chord is the third and fifth note on the top, and what would be the second bottom note. Alright, that's quite a major, very angelic sounding chord. So you've got minor, major, and then here it's also another minor, but it's the ding and the first note of the bottom side of the handpan. Okay, and that's really all it is, and the rest of what I play is developed based off of that. So if you were watching me play this piece, you know, within say any of my 10-minute plus videos, and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to play the whole 10-minute video, well, you'll see actually that I just improvise around these chords, this chord progression. So if you can learn this chord progression, you can go ahead and improvise however way you like and actually call that your own piece. So something like this. You need to know how long to wait though, of course. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And how you divide this into rhythms is up to you, but essentially I'm counting 1, 2. So I might say that actually I'm counting in one beat notes, which, as we say in the UK, are crotchets, or everywhere else we say one beat notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you said we were in 4/4 time, essentially I'm just playing in 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 bars, and repeat. Okay. How would we write that? I'm going to write it because a few of us are actually referring to this, what we call simplified handpan notation. Now I know we haven't done it in a while. You guys have hopefully been practicing more than I have. But it is good to be able to write down on paper or in some sort of written form our music, so that we can take it anywhere we like, refer to it later without having to rely entirely on our memory or from what we see and hear. Although those are equally just as valuable skills, but you know, it's great to have a written reference. So if you remember, let's remind everyone who's making this video, NovaPans Handpans. Okay, I won't number this lesson, but we might just call it something like, oh, little head. There you go. We might call it something such as 13 note. 13 note. Part 1. Okay? Who knows how many parts or different videos we'll make here. But that's what we're doing today. And back to here, what we call simplified handpan. We'll just put it here. Simplified handpan notation. Now, if you're looking at this for the first time, you're wondering, oh, what is this? You know, you've not seen this before. Check out our previous tutorials, numbered 0.1 to 13. I know I mentioned 0.1 there. There's only 2 points. There's like 0.1, there's 0.2, and then the rest are just 1 to 13. And you'll see that we've actually covered a lot of this content already. Simplified handpan notation is basically just the name of what we're doing here, how we write music for the handpan, at least how we've created a way of doing this. That's a 13, note B. Okay, so if you remember on the handpan, we've got, depending on the handpan you've got, but most handpans have 9 notes. What we decided was we would put the ding note on this middle line. Okay, and then the second note of the handpan was something like down here, so we would put it here. Third note there, fourth note, fifth note, right, on this line. And what we did, instead of putting the 6th there, was we jumped up to here. We jumped to the space above the middle line and put the 6th there, and the 7 equally on a line, 7. 8 also, oh, it's a big 8 on the space, and then 9 here on the, kind of put it in the middle there, because it kind of is in the middle. 9 on the top line. Now, of course, this is no specific reference to the actual pitch of the handpan. You'll find that actually, if you have any idea of music, sheet music, that the lower the dot is on the staves, on the lines, the lower the note. But of course, the middle note of the handpan is the lowest note of the handpan. This is the ding note. So really, it shouldn't be in the middle. Just for the context of trying to reference pitch in an actual sensible, in a contextual example, we would put the ding down here. So in fact, what we did in a video was we rewrote the ding down here. And I should do that in a different color, or circle it, just to demonstrate how we're trying to make it as best representable of original sheet music as possible. So essentially we've taken this ding and we've put it here. Again, this is all covered in previous videos, but what I was trying to say just then before talking about the ding was that even though the notes of the handpan are written here, it doesn't mean that on traditional sheet music that's actually what they sound like. Okay, I won't need to do this video again. You can search in the previous videos. But essentially, that's a quick reminder of where the notes are on the handpan in relation to sheet music, at least in this context. And something which hasn't been covered before are the uses of the bottom notes of the handpan. So we've got 2 extra lower notes and 2 extra high notes. So where are we going to put them? Well, since the bottom note of the second lowest note of the handpan happens to be on the right side, on the bottom, we might like to put it on the right side at the bottom over here. But we actually have also a third lowest note, so a note above that on the left. So if we're going to choose a visual choice over a choice over pitch, of the relation of notes to pitch, perhaps we better just prioritize what they look like for now. So perhaps let's just stick that left note here. Sorry, how we do this is with the notes below the staves, you essentially have to, because there are no extra lines, but you essentially have to draw your own extra snippet of line, like you do here. So if you want to draw any notes below this, you have to draw that line, right? This here would be the same as the ding. But when you put another line through it, right, this essentially means that sorry, it is slightly lower than usual. This essentially means that is 1 note lower than the black one, okay? And then you can go even further and put the note underneath those 2 lines. So now you've got 2 notes lower than the ding, which are those 2 notes underneath. Okay, those are the 2 notes lower, and then you've got 2 notes higher as well. One on the right, which we'll just put here, and then one on the left, which is up here. Now again, just because the notes are here, for example, traditional treble clef, this would be a top A, this would be a G, this would be an A, this would be a G. Just because they're written as A and Gs does not necessarily mean the handpan those notes are A and Gs, okay? This is just because that's what they look like on the handpan, and we just put some staves on there, and we're creating what we call simplified handpan notation, okay? If we wanted to create something, the traditional sheet music for the handpan, we would probably write it pitch for pitch, but because there are so many different handpans with different pitches, it can lead to a few complications. So at least this way, people could just follow the general pattern. I think I've said enough about pitch and simplified handpan notation, but since we are adding 4 extra notes, it might have been worth it after all. So now you see all the notes of the handpan, the 13-note handpan. If you count all the black and the green notes, you'll see there's 13. And let's just get on with this piece. Okay, I was thinking of calling it Moonlight. You know, maybe we can call this song Moonlight. It's only 3 chords. You know, it's not a. It's difficult to claim it's a song. But the song actually will be defined by you once you get these 3 chord progressions sorted. Once you've actually practiced the chord progressions, you can then improvise and call it your own song. But let's just call it, for the sake of calling it something, call it Moonlight. So the first chord was a 2-beat chord, wasn't it? A chord, by the way, is anything which has 2 notes or more played simultaneously. So because I played the ding and the second note of the top side of the handpan simultaneously, it's considered a chord. So the ding, remember, is down here, and it's for 2 beats. So remember, let's write the key signature. This was covered, by the way, in our previous, many previous tutorials. So if you're unsure what this means or this means, just navigate through our previous tutorials, which are all free and accessible online on YouTube. And so 4/4 just means you've got 4 beats in a bar. Treble means that we're in this area of the pitch. Okay, you get super low handpan, super low, not handpan, well, instruments in general, and they may use a bass clef. All right, and it's just a way to be able to present notes more clearly without having to draw many different lines above or below the staves. So the first chord is the ding, 2 notes. Remember, this is considered a minim. Yep, it's going to be a minim when I put a stem on it, but when you see it without a stem, it is a semi-brief. Right? In beat terminology, that essentially means this with a stem, which we call a minim, is a 2 beat note, but by itself without a stem means it's 4 beats. So if I leave this as itself, it would be called a semi-brief. It would need to be counted for 4 beats. But before I draw the stem, I want to get the second note, which is up here. Okay, and it's 2 beats, so we're going to draw it like this. Okay, so that's 2 beats. That's the first chord, right? That's the ding and the second note. All right. So I'm glad that I drew the bottom notes in green now to distinguish them. But essentially, that one there is right on the bottom right. That green note on the right there is the bottom note on the right. This one on the left is the bottom note on the left. This one here is the bottom note on the top note. Sorry, it's the bottom note at the top of the handpan on the bottom. So the second from the highest on the bottom, and then the very highest on the bottom of the far left. That's how we've written it. So that's the first chord. The second chord was 3 and 5 on the top, right? 3 and 5 on the top would be 3, 5, and then the note on the bottom on the left, which would be this one here. Right, so maybe, I hope, people, oh, not the best step, people can notice a sort of pattern here. But essentially, should I have done that in green? Will that help people? I think it will. Let me do that bottom note in green, just to help distinguish it. Alright, these are all connected, these are all still 2 beats, okay? So you've got 1 and 2, dum, and then you've got whatever you want to call that bottom note, but it's bottom on the left, plus 3 and 5 on the top, da, and then you've got 4 beats of the ding with the left hand. I will write the hand positions in after the ding and the second lowest note, which is on the right of the bottom. So because we've covered 4 beats already and it's 4 beats in a bar, we have to draw a new bar. That's what the bar line's for. The ding is being played here for 4, remember, without the stem it's 4 beats, and it is indeed 4 beats long. And the note on the bottom right, which is this G looking one. I say it looks like G only because it's not actually G, is it? Because your handpan might actually sound a different note. I keep coming back to this, this topic of what the notes actually sound like. It's because the sheet music musicians spend decades reading this and saying, oh, that's an A, E, G. But for this context, we're just trying to see the notes, of course, where the handpan is. So that's the ding, and that's the bottom note on the right. Now I'm going to write in the hand positions for you because that's important. So these are both done on the right hand, okay? Ding and the second note, yeah, that's why I'm confused. Right hand. These are both. how do I do this? Because I write that with the index on here, okay? And I write, and I play the second note with my thumb. So would it help if I just wrote right? Right? I write right, but obviously the bottom one I play with the index, and the top one, should I put that in a bracket? Index, and the top one I play with my thumb. So, okay. I hope that is clear for everyone. It's my right hand, middle finger, or you can use your index for the ding. That's index or middle, and then your thumb, T, will be on the second note here. I put the thumb on the top because as we write it, the second note of the top side of the handpan is higher than the ding. It sounds higher. It doesn't look higher, so that's the only difference. You have to not be caught out by that. The thumb is on that note there, which is not the ding. That is the second note on the top. So it's like that. All right, and then maybe I'll quickly demonstrate that for you with the handpan. This is coming off. You can glue this back on if you find your handpan's protective belt is coming off. This particular model we've had for 2 years now, so it's understandable. It's been around everywhere. So index or middle finger on the ding, as you like. I like to do my middle because it stretches more. And then thumb on the second note here. And that's how we play this one. The next one, you'll find that my right hand middle finger is on the 5, the thumb now is on the 3, and the left hand is on that note on the bottom. Beautiful chord. So we will now write that. And then I'll make a comment about how if you find that your hands can't stretch that far. But let's just do this. Okay, index. So 3 and 5. In this case, the finger positions are in the position that you see the notes. In that, I'm using the middle and the top.